what I want. Money that I'm getting for investing, not to flaunt. 10x badass. I'ma give you what you need. Drop her in the air, on the ground, I got a team. 10X
I'm ready
badass.
to bring up our new speaker, our next speaker. I think you're just going to be as blown away by this amazing woman as I have been and am. She's published her motivational book, Come to Win, which reached number 5 on the New York Times bestseller list. She's been honored as Variety's Power of the Woman, Glamour Magazine's Woman of the Year, Care Impact Award for Gender Equality, ESPN's WTA Player of the Year. I know y'all know where we're going. I try not to let it go, but Forbes Celebrity 100, amongst others. She has launched, okay, I know you know, but you know, the other stuff. But did you know this? She has launched her fashion-forward lifestyle brand. She has launched a plant-based protein company. And she has founded a commercial and residential design firm, all while holding 7 Grand Slam titles, 5 Wimbledon champions, and 4 Olympic gold medals. Please help me welcome to the stage and give a huge 10x round of applause to the woman who definitely deserves it, Miss Venus Williams. Yes! Oh my gosh! Thank you. Here, thank you. Oh man. Thank you. Okay. All right. I have questions. Yes. I'm going to stop fangirling, but it doesn't mean you don't have to.
Hi, everyone. How are you?
This is a great group of women. So they love you. They knew you were going to be here. We're excited for this. All right. I'm going to jump right in here. So, okay. Can we talk about King Richard for a second?
Yes, please.
Did y'all see that movie? If you haven't, you need to go see this film. It was so freaking amazing. And a lot of it, if not most of it, if that's fair to say, was about you. Yeah. Did you felt that way too, right?
Yeah, so for those of you who have not seen the film is mostly about a family and a little bit about tennis. So everyone has a family. In fact, my sister Lynn is here. Oh, there she is. Hey, Lynn.
Hey! Thank you. Welcome.
My older sister, my fashion influence.
Yeah, let's emphasize the older.
Yes. She doesn't look older, though.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, the film is really about how a family comes together to create a dream together, and I think that's what people really related to in this film. So even though it was about tennis, it was really about this family who has this dream. Well, my family who has this dream, and then it ends up coming true. And it's an interesting period in time because the film is from when I'm 10 years old to 14 years old, so we call it like a prequel almost, you know? And it's a different part of my life that's like a very long time ago, but still so close.
Yes, and so that's the question that I had from the film. Y'all had this dream, this family had this dream. Now, going to the tennis, was this dream your dream? And then you were like, Dad, I want to do tennis? Or was it like you were around it and then you saw it and learned to love it? Like because in the movie, he already knew the destiny. Mm-hmm. How did that happen for you? Like, how did you come about to discover that you had this talent and you were going to foster this tennis?
Yeah. Well, I did what I was told.
Okay.
That always goes well. I grew up in a very spiritual-based family. We're Jehovah's Witness, and there's a scripture, and it says, you know, if you listen to your parents, all will go well with you.
Wow.
Yeah.
I need to have my daughters read that one.
So that was already in our upbringing, and that's what we did. Our parents had this dream. My dad taught my mom to play tennis. I honestly still don't know how they do it. Everyone in the family knows how to play, so if something's going wrong on the court and there's like someone in the stands, my sister Isha and Lynn in the stands, they'll be like, turn your hips a little more, because they know what's going on. But it's something to be said about having a plan and then believing in it and then putting the work behind it. If you actually believe in what you're doing, it makes the world of difference. If you're hoping and maybe, or hope so, or might, those are all what ifs. But if you actually believe and you put the work, it happens.
Before I ask my next question, do you still use the wide stance, or did we, from the movie, how your father was like, wide stance, but then the other coach was like, no, we're not doing wide stance. Like, where did we end up on that one?
Yes, the famous open stance.
Do you get asked that a lot? Like, because we want to know.
Yeah. Actually, whenever my dad comes on the court, everything has to be an open stance. So when he's there, I open the stance. When he's there, when he's not, I close the stance sometimes.
Okay, all right.
Some shots require a closed stance. But it's really interesting because that open stance changed the game, both on men's and women's side. It's so dynamic. So somehow my dad changed the game. It wasn't Serena and I, it was my mom and my dad who had these ideas, and we were just the students.
Right. And it seemed like that you have a really great relationship with not only your parents, but your sisters as well. Is that true or not? Or can we not say because there's one over there?
We have so much fun, and we actually have these teams. One team is called Team V. It's Venus and Isha. And there's another team called Team LS, and that's, she's laughing.
She's hiding and laughing.
It's called Lindrea and Serena. And so we call them the Sleeping Beauties because they go to bed early. They don't want to miss their beauty sleep. But Team V, we're always out. And our mutual friend Susan,
yes,
she's also said she's Team V. So we're recruiting her. So if you're Team V, you like shenanigans, don't want to go to bed, you're just up to see what's going to happen, you're Team V.
And if you're a Team V, raise your hand. Woo! Okay, if you're a Sleeping Beauty, raise your hand. Okay, it's about 50-50.
The thing is, if you're Team V, you can still get your beauty. What you do is before you go to bed, you just put a mask on.
Yes! And we still get to have all the fun.
And you still get that beauty.
Okay. All right, so now going back to, you mentioned this, it's about putting your future there. Like, you have to believe, right, and assume that role, which you did, right? I didn't misquote that, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so in that, so have you let that, first of all, let me backtrack. When was the moment that you knew who you were going to be in your future self?
Well, I was brainwashed.
I love brainwashing. Can your dad come over to my house?
I was brainwashed, definitely. From a young age, our parents told us, you'd be number 1 and 2 in the world. And I was 4 years old, so you believe your parents, right?
Wow.
And
wow. Wow.
So we drank the Kool-Aid, the good kind. And then we put in a lot of work. But at the same time, I remember my dad, he said, pick a tournament you want to win more than anyone else. And I said Wimbledon. And Serena, well, she copies all of us. She still does. And he asked her, he said, pick one you want to win. And she said, Wimbledon. And he said, Serena, pick another tournament, because he wanted her to think for herself. So she picked the U.S. Open, and quite honestly, she won Wimbledon more than I did, and the U.S. Open too. So I should have been copying her instead of her copying me. But in that sense, though, not only did we put in the work, but whatever you tell your mind is what you will get out of it. And it is so true. If you tell your mind the same thing every day, I can't, you won't. If you tell your mind the same thing every day, I will, your mind just learns it. It really does. And I use this technique with myself on the court too. I journal and I write the things that I want to be. I tell myself that this is what I want, and I repeat it over and over and over again. And I find these techniques to be even more important in those times where you're really going through it. When something has happened, life happens, things happen, domino effect. That's when you really have to put those positive mantras instead of, going into whatever's happening and focusing on that, figuring out where you'd like to be and focus on that, and then you'll get there.
Love it. So I love that, pulling yourself, allowing yourself to be pulled towards the future. You caught on to that one way sooner than I did, but I'm getting there myself. Salud.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So when you're on the court, and let's say it's not going the way you want it to go, and I don't even know the terminology, but you can't hit the ball, and the other person makes a point, and you're down. You get that point, right?
What time does this end? We're going on the court.
Wait, what?
What time does this end? We're going on the court. We got
Okay,
right.
Let's do. Okay, you don't want to know. The only time I played tennis, and again, this has to stay in this room. Hand to God, we had a tennis court at our house in Los Angeles, and so I decided to play grant tennis. But I obviously am not good at tennis, so I came up with my own tactics to play tennis.
Good for you.
Yes. And so I decided that every time I lost, I would just take off a piece of clothing and distract him, because I am a fierce competitor too. And it worked. I won. But that's our little secret, okay? And I've never played tennis since. He's like, you're not playing tennis with anybody else.
I think I'll get arrested for indecent exposure.
Yes, I would have been. All right, but back to this moment on the court. When I watch tennis players and y'all are like, there's something going on. There's a conversation in your head. Like, y'all are either mad at yourself or you're talking your way through it. And I want to know, in that moment, you're having some sort of a champion mindset, whether you're bashing yourself or not. I just want to know, what are you saying to yourself in those moments to either get back in the game, or like, what are those thoughts?
Yeah, so tennis is a sport that is so technical, and also everything happens so quickly. The ball's coming quick, everything's happening very quickly. So you don't have a lot of time to think. Thinking can be your worst enemy. So everything is process driven. The process already has to be in place long before you step on the court. You've got to know exactly how you're going to execute things. You got to know your game. You got to know everything, and you really got to know what you're going to do in those pressure moments. So if you're talking to yourself, I like watching those players. They're crazy, and they're fun to watch. I like to do a lot less talking to myself. I have like a poker face on the court, because I don't want my opponent to know I don't want them to have any encouragement at all of what I'm thinking. But you're just correcting your mistakes as you go along. So if I make a mistake, I correct that, but I can't. It would be, if you try to think of two things at once, it's quite difficult. So if you can imagine, you're on the court trying to play a match and trying to think of two things at once, you're done. So I think it's the same thing in life. To find that great flow and that great rhythm in life, in business, you have to have your processes in place. You know what those processes are, and then you go, you flow. And once you find that flow and rhythm, that's when great things happen. And when you lose the flow, you lose the rhythm, something goes wrong in the process, that's when you correct what happened in that process, correct it, fix it, go back to flow. So tennis is very similar to life. I really, really believe that sport is life, and life and sport, they're one and the same. If you can do one, you can do both.
Yeah.
Although one time I did have a bad attitude.
Uh-oh. Let's hear
Well,
about it.
my sister Serena is a little bit more known as the hothead on the court, very passionate, but it was fun to watch. The only time I had a breakdown, I was playing a match, and if you know anything about tennis, you want to serve your first serve percentage anywhere 60 and above. If it goes below the 50s, it's like basically being in hell. You can't play. So my serve percentage was somewhere in the 50s, maybe 40s. And I felt so bad. I had a sponsor there with their kids. And I took a racket out the bag and I broke that racket. And then I took another one out and broke it right away.
No
And then the third
way.
one came out.
No way.
And that one got broken too. And let me tell you, it felt good. And I don't know how I stopped because I didn't want to stop. I could have broke every racket in that bag. And
Wow.
I don't think I said hi to that sponsor or their kid. I walked off the court, walked immediately to transport, went to my hotel and started watching cartoons.
Did that help you rebound?
That helped me rebound. I probably ordered like some cookies too. But that was my only bad day.
All right. Oh my. So how important are coaches in all of this? A mentor? How important is finding the right team? I know I'm asking you like 10 million questions at once, so pick one and answer it, But like, based on the movie, you outgrew your father, correct? Like he even brought you to another coach, right?
Yes.
So how important is getting the right information, the right education, the right knowledge and understanding from the right person for you?
Right. Well, I'm 43, whatever, 34.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever age I am. And I'm only on my fourth coach. So my mom and dad were my coaches forever. And the right team is so important. It's so important because otherwise you crumble.
Why do you crumble? Like how?
Because if you don't have the right team, whether it's the right positivity, the right information, the right path, you're going to go the wrong way. And the wrong way can be disastrous. And also you lose time. Also you lose confidence. When you lose that confidence and you got to spend that time building your confidence back up. And sometimes the wrong team members will tear you down too, which is sad but true. Those people are out there. They really are. And you do see that happen in sports too, especially in individual sports like mine, where players are quite insulated. Each team is one team. It's not like a basketball team where the whole world is watching what this coach does. It's very, very insular. I've been fortunate to have really great people around me, but also I really do believe you attract who you are. And predators are looking for people to predate on. So someone loved that. And if you are that person, unfortunately, that they're looking for a certain kind of person that they can take advantage of. So the way to get away from these kinds of people is first to have some values. You got to have values, and you got to live up to them. There you go. So if you have values and you know what you stand for, when that predator comes, they're not going to be able to predate because you're going to say, yeah, no. And then the second is also you have to believe in yourself. You might not know the exact way that you're going to get there or where you're going to go, but you do believe in you. And so then you're not going to believe in this person and whatever it is that they're bringing. And so in that sense, you're going to eliminate all the nonsense, all the foolishness, and you're going to attract the sort of people who also want to build you up and who want to go that way. So building the right team is also about being the right person yourself. So you have to do that self-work on yourself, and you also have to be someone worth following. Every person is a leader, no matter what position you are, whether you are the CEO or the first person starting, you're the leader, and most of all, you're the leader in your life. You have to lead your own life. So when you're that leader, you've got to be around those type of people. Now listen, I love gossip. I really do. I live for gossip. I do not spread gossip, but I love to hear it. But however, on my own teams and my tennis teams, I do not participate in any gossip. I don't do all of that stuff. But outside of that, in my own personal life, I have a little fun. So that's also a very important thing, too. Like, you can't be a part of all the gossip and the foolishness, that sort of thing. You have to stay away from that because that's not what leaders do. Leaders are about the business. So you have to stay away from those sorts of things, too.
Yes. How toxic is the gossip to a team, and what are the ramifications that you've experienced by that toxicity coming into the environment?
Gossip can be very, very toxic, especially when it starts to be a rumor mill that at some point one person says something and by the end it's like a whole completely different story. So
Tears teams apart.
It does tear teams apart, and that's why culture is so important. Being able to have a culture in your team, it doesn't matter how small your team is. It can be one person, two persons, but you need to gather around a culture that is going to bring everyone together. Because when you think about it, all of us in this room, we all came from different parents, different families, different parts of the world, different upbringings. We all have different experiences. But in your organization, if you're able to gather around one set of rules and one set of culture, then that's what we can gather around. And then at that point in time, leadership, or even if you're not the leader of the team, if someone is not modeling those behaviors, then it's really simple at that point in time to say, hey, so this isn't actually part of what our team does, what our culture does. So everyone is able to align back to that easily. Mm-hmm. So in my opinion, this is the easiest way to get rid of gossip and the nonsense. And then those people who don't want to, they self-select out. And that's the kindest thing for them. They can move on to somewhere else where they can do whatever it is they like to do, but not right here.
I love it. I love that. You said self-select out, and a lot of people do. When they come into our organization, they realize this is not the culture, they can't handle it. But my question for you is, if you find somebody that is electing not to self-select out of the group, how fierce are you to getting them out yourself? Like, what do you do to make them be gone?
I call it no slow deaths.
No slow deaths.
You know,
whack them off fast. You're
right?
like, pew, pew.
You know how in
They're
the
out.
movies, like, they hit the person and they always knock out quick? That doesn't happen in real life. Like, you hit someone and they're still standing, right?
Do you actually hit people?
Not usually.
Okay. I never considered this an option for me. Go ahead. My mind is being expanded.
This is a part of our culture, punching, all that stuff. But in real life, people kind of die slowly, and so I'm actually like a really nice person. I like to see people do well, and I like to see people happy. And so over time in my own organizations, there'd be these slow deaths because it's like, okay, well, let's give you one more try. And then after a while, that starts to, one bad apple, all the apples go bad. That one person starts to spread the poison everywhere. right? You're like, I've gone through this.
Well, you know what it does? It takes your attention off of your mission because now you have to go internally to fix everything, rehire, retrain, or get, you know what I'm saying? It pulls me
Exactly.
off of purpose.
It pulls you off of purpose. So my whole thing is no slow deaths. If we feel like this person is just not going to align, then immediately we
Terminate.
it's kindness, actually.
You're right.
It's an act of kindness to allow them to be somewhere where they can thrive. This is not their place.
I love you. I knew I loved you. Oh my God, you're validating me so much. Thank you. Okay, so two things, but the first one's first. Obviously, you're very disciplined, right? So talk to me about discipline and how has that been a tool for you to actually achieve? Because some people are like, oh, I hate discipline. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? But like, so even when you don't want something, to do something, I see you applying discipline. I see your Instagram, you're in the gym, well, I was at an event with you. I knew you were watching what you were eating. You had a tournament coming up,
There were a lot of desserts there. I ate the fruit. I was so depressed. The only thing I regret is the donuts I ate yesterday.
Oh, really? I love donuts.
Me too, especially the crumb ones.
I love Krispy Kreme. Krispy Kreme. Do you like Krispy Kreme?
Oh man, those are so sweet for me. I'll let you have those.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like
okay.
crumb
Well,
donuts. It's just, oh.
You're just like, oh. So do you have discipline? Maybe I'm assuming you
Not
have
at all.
discipline. I don't know. I'm not going to assume anything anymore.
No, I honestly believe discipline is freedom.
Aha. I want to hear about that.
Yeah.
Discipline is freedom. What are you saying?
When you have discipline, you get what you want.
Wow.
When you don't have discipline, you do not get any of what you want.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're free to live your dream, you're free to do the things that you love, and then you start to come to love the discipline. And then when you don't have the discipline, that's when the anxiety sets in because you're not paying the price. And if you don't pay the price, you get nothing. So you got to pay the price, and then you have to have discipline, and then the world is open to you.
How good does the world feel to you when you win? When the world is open to you, what is that? Just tell me about that. Maybe I'm not doing enough in life, but I don't have 7 Grand Slams, 5 Wimbledons, and 4 Olympic gold medals. Like, what does that feel like?
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Yes.
I'm just a little bit greedy. I want more.
I don't have a problem with that.
But
You know what? You're going to get it because everyone in this room, we're designing our lives over the next, and we made an agreement that anything we put down, we all get to have. So what do you want?
Yes,
We're with you. We're flowing all the it's going to happen vibes on it.
anything you put down, you get to have. And it's so interesting. There are so many people who want to help you. People really want to help. They really do. People, the older you get, and like I said, what did I say I was? 30?
34. You're 34.
34, yeah, that part. As you start to get into your 30s, you you start to think,
I wouldn't know I'm not there yet.
I didn't think so.
You see? Okay.
You start to think less about obviously there's still goals that you have, but you start to think so much more about the world and what you can give and who you can help. Those things start to be so exciting because you've had that chance to do a lot of things for yourself and the world opens up. People really want to help. If you just ask and raise your hand, people want to help. So when you put those things on paper, you can easily find someone who wants to help. That's number one. And I don't remember what else I was going to say after that. So that thought's gone.
That's okay. That happens to me all the time, but that was genius, and we're doing that this weekend. We're writing stuff down, and yeah, what do you want?
What do I want?
Yeah, you don't miss this opportunity because it's coming true. I mean, we already know you make everything you want come true, but this is just reinforcing it.
Well, I got what I wanted this last weekend. Serena's having a girl.
Yay!
So that was huge. I don't know if you saw this, but there was a whole okie doke, and there was supposed to be a cake that shows where there was a girl, and I was like literally standing and like jumping, and then the cake was yellow.
What?
Yeah. And then there were it was a whole elaborate thing that my brother-in-law planned, but that was fun. Second, I want Serena to come out of retirement. Got to write that on paper.
Okay.
I want so much from Serena. I got to focus on my own life. I really just want to help women. Equality is so important. And that's around the world. I love art, so to see as much of it as I can. I love tennis. I'm leaving for a tournament right after this. So
Nice.
yeah, I'm going to go play in Montreal. That's going to be a lot of fun. So small goals. Also, I want to get a life. I haven't done that well.
It sounds like you have.
No, I worked a lot, but then there's other stuff outside of work. So
Like what?
Making friends. I love meeting new people. Hi, guys.
Who wants to be Venus Williams' friend? Sign me up.
I have to find my sister Lynn a husband, right, Lynn? No. She said no. Okay, well. So there's a lot of things I need to just work on in my personal life because I've worked so much and that was so much fun. But now I'm starting to realize I got to do other stuff outside of work. So it's a whole new adventure in itself.
Oh, I love that. Okay, well, you're going to have it because it's there now.
Thank you. Oh, I think I know what I was going to say.
Oh, do tell.
So my dad always told us to write down your goals because when you write them down, they become real. When they're in your head, it's just an electrical impulse floating in and out of your head. It's in, then it's out, and it's gone. But when you write it down, then it's real and it's tangible. So that's why we got to write down our goals.
We have to. I love that. They have their workbooks, too. They were asked to do that.
Where's my workbook?
Yeah, we need to get
Can I get a workbook?
Ms. Venus Williams' workbook for sure.
Thank you.
Because it has my face on it, and then you won't forget me when we're best friends.
Oh, I'll never forget you.
Aw, thank you.
What size is that jacket, by the way?
You want to try it on?
I'm like the Incredible Hulk. I will Hulk that jacket. I'm 6'1". I am so big.
You don't think you can fit in it? You don't think you can fit in it?
I don't think so.
All right, if you fit in it, it's yours.
Oh my God.
Let's try. But okay, here we go. Okay. What do you think? Almost. All right, well, good. Then I don't have to be self-conscious anymore. You can. Well, don't make me try that one. I'm still shy. All right. We're going to segue into another little area before we do. Oh, here, right here. Right here. She literally did a mic drop.
Yes. I'm just a little bit bigger.
She just made it official. She did about 15 mic drops, but we just made that one official. Okay, so what do you think of confidence? How do you create it? You know, even in the movie, they showed you being very confident at a very young age. So what is confidence, first of all?
Yeah, confidence is something I'm actually very passionate about because too many people don't have it. And the issue with not having confidence is that then you start to make your decision based on not believing in yourself. And that takes you down a road that's not good. You'll date the wrong people, you make the wrong job decisions. It just goes on and on and on. So I always tell people, what decision would you make if you actually believed in you? What would you do? Some of us are born with confidence, some of us are taught it, but confidence is something that's acquired and it's something you have to work on. So a lot of times people don't feel confident and they feel like they're just stuck. Well, I just don't feel confident. It's actually something you can work on. So we've got our journals here, right?
Yep.
And then you start to write down the things that you don't feel good about. Then you start to write down the solutions of how you can feel better about those things, how you can feel better about what it is. And then sometimes you start writing stuff down, you realize, actually, I don't even feel this way. I just am thinking this. And then those are the easy ones where you're like, out, done. I'm good with that one. Move on to the next one. So I feel like confidence is something that you work on and it's acquired and you earn it. And confidence is just earned. And if you put in the work, you will get there. And then at the same time, I really, really, really believe in fake it till you make it. If you don't feel good, just pretend you do. And after a while, it's weird, you will. You really will. Have you ever said something before and you're like, didn't believe it, but you just kept saying it enough times and you actually started believing it even though you knew it wasn't real? It's really that kind of effect that you say it enough times, it will come into fruition. So I think the world is fraught with a lack of confidence. And I think we see that around the world, like on social media, all these different things where people don't feel good about what they're doing, so they have to project something that they think is whatever the world might want. But it's not about the world, it's actually about you. And individualism is so important. Without that, we don't get to a better place in the world. If we're all the same, we get the same ideas and we stay stuck. We all have to be ourselves so that way the world can grow and blossom.
I love you. Okay. I said I wasn't going to fangirl, but I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to segue over into the money area because you have 3 companies, 11 by Venus Williams, Happy Viking, which is the plant protein-based company, V-Star. Tell me how you got involved with your companies. Like you weren't doing enough with tennis? Or tell me why money's important to you and why you think we should be talking about it as women.
Well, as women, money is important because we actually, we did play that song, Girls Run the World, right?
Oh, yes, we did.
I wanted to do that dance, but I didn't know it. You know, when it came on, Girls Run the World, girls. I don't remember the video.
Me either, but I'm sure somebody here does.
But we really do. And the more money that we have, the more opportunities that we have to shape the world, the more opportunities that we have to shape our families in the right way, and the more opportunities that we have to grow. And it's about the money, but it's also not about the money. The reason it's about the money is because if we don't have money, then we don't have options. And if we do have the money, we do have options. And that goes from the United States to outside the United States. One of the most prevalent forms of abuse is financial abuse. If someone is controlling the money, then they control you because then you can't leave this situation. Outside of the United States too, if women don't have money, they can't start their own businesses, they can't put their kids in schools, they stay stuck generation after generation after generation. So do we want money just so we can like make it rain over at, I don't know, KOD or something? No, it's not KOD anymore, it's 11, right? Anyway, whatever the club is now that the people make it rain at, That's not why we want the money. We don't want bottle service and all the stuff like that. We want the money because that allows us to rise out of the situations that we have been in thousands of years. And when you think about it, thank you, ladies. Women have gone through so much, right? We what was it, in the 1970s that we first had the opportunity to have credit cards. The first woman ran the marathon. She had to pretend that she was not a woman so she could run the marathon. Women weren't allowed because we weren't strong enough to run a marathon. A few years ago, a woman changed her shirt at the U.S. Open because she was hot. And she changed her shirt and had a sports bra, and she got fined. So it's thing after she fought it. We finally won, but there are so many dominoes effects that women are going through, and that's why it is important to have the money, because money allows you control, it allows you a position of power, it allows you to change things. And of course, you also could get a nice bag if you wanted to, or a nice home, whatever it is, but it's so much more deeper than that.
Yeah, I agree. Financial freedom does give you leniency to be able to decide who you want to work with or not, who you're going to do business with or not, have the vacations, the life. I love that you talk about financial freedom, and women should take more of an active like we should be talking about money. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
And no matter how much money you have or don't have, it's always good to ask the price. It's always important to maybe argue a little bit about the price too.
Yep, I agree.
And because I had this experience that happened to me, I was overseas and I wanted to buy this blanket, and all these Italians were there, and I was with someone that was Italian, and they all were, and I was like, I don't know, 19 or 20. So I was nervous to ask the price because I didn't want to seem cheap or whatever it was. And they were all talking in Italian and saying, put this money on top. No, put this on for me on top. Put this on top. And so the person that was there with me, and he didn't say anything, but at the end, he's like told them, you can't do this. And this was all because I didn't ask the price. So they were going to take advantage of me. Thankfully, I had that person there, but I learned a powerful lesson after that. You always ask the price. Do not be afraid to ask about money. Get right in there and get, guns blazing, whatever you have to do, but don't be afraid of it.
I love that. Yep. What have you learned from the court that you apply to your business?
Oh, just everything. Sport is the best teacher, so if you do not play a sport or push yourself physically, please do so. Once you've pushed yourself physically, you realize there is no limit and that you can do anything. So get on that elliptical, ladies. Start those push-ups, whatever it is. If you have children, put them in sports. It is the best thing for them. I see some kids here, a few. And you learn so much. You learn how to win. You learn how to lose. You learn how to set goals. You learn how to reevaluate. You learn how to look at yourself. You really have to look at yourself and be honest with yourself, because if you're not, then you will get the same result every single time. You can blame and there was this one player, he would blame his sleeves. Doesn't that sound crazy? Because his sleeves were too long, so he had to roll the sleeves up, and he's like, I lost because of my sleeves. He did not win a Grand Slam, by the way, because the honesty wasn't there. So sport teaches you to be honest and to really look deep inside yourself and make those hard decisions. You learn how to work on a team. You learn how to build the right team. It just goes on and on and on. And you learn these lessons without actually knowing you're learning them. And then those transfer right on over to business and to life. And you learn how to make those decisions all across.
All right, so true. They're so supportive, aren't they?
Yeah, thank you, ladies.
Yeah. Okay, so this is kind of a controversial subject, but you brought it up. Okay, because I agree with you. Sports teaches them how to win and lose, important team, da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, what do you think about nowadays in the schools when they have the team, whether you win or lose, everybody gets a trophy?
No. Because
But that could get
gotta
you in
learn to
trouble.
lose.
Not in this room because we're not going to tell. But don't you?
yeah, you've got to learn to lose. Or else if you haven't learned to lose, then what happens later on? Not everyone gets a trophy. That's just how it is. And that's okay. That's okay. Because not every single person goes to the Olympics or wins a Super Bowl. There are so many people who played sports who became leaders, political leaders, or whatever kind of leaders, and they attribute sports to that, what they learned. So what you learn from sports transfers over. So yeah, we don't need to have too many trophies.
Love it. A couple, I know we'll wrap up here in a second, but couple maybe rapid fire. Were you confident when you segued over into the entrepreneurial space with your business? Were you pretty confident from the get-go, or were you a little fish out of water, like assume fake it till you make it in the beginning?
In the beginning, I didn't think I knew what I was doing. I thought that everyone knew more than I did because I'm an athlete, so I know that very well. And I thought, okay, well, I'm bringing on these people, they should know what to do. But after a while, I realized, okay, I might not know everything. I may not have worked in an office, but I have to trust my instinct. And I have to listen to myself, and I have to listen to that inner voice that's back there that's telling you don't do this or do that, and learn to listen to it. So I had to learn that the hard way, unfortunately. But when you start a business, even if you don't have the most experience, only you know your brand. You know your brand better than anyone else, and you got to trust that.
You are obviously Venus Williams. Do you have, it doesn't sound like to me from, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to speak on behalf of y'all, but from this perspective, it doesn't seem like you have insecurities, like human lowly insecurities, do you? She doesn't. I knew it. I was right.
I am happy with me.
I love it. That's all you have to say. You don't have to have insecurities. You do not have to.
But
Oh, okay, all right.
I do have like a little thing here. I call her Little Debbie from the Little Debbie snack cakes. And try as I might, she's always kind of there. And it's genetics. I blame it on my dad.
Oh yeah,
So,
he's good for that.
yeah, Little
Yeah.
Debbie's there for life. So there she is. We've learned.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that, vulnerability. That's
I don't eat Little Debbie's anymore, though.
okay.
So now I have to attribute it to
Might
like
be
some
going
other
away.
snack that I mean, little donut, I don't know.
Yeah. How do you know who to trust?
Oh, trust comes with time. You don't know who to trust. Time tells. So you watch them with one eye open. And no one watches closer than my sister Lynn. I don't know where she went. She's,
Oh, right here, right here.
There she is. Lynn is always one eye open. And she's a great judge of character. So Lynn is always watching out for me and the rest of the family too. But over time, and the words, people talk, but the actions. It's really the actions, and then over time, there's no way around it. And I think in life, sometimes we get burned or things happen not the way that we want, and so then we get scared. We're like, who do I trust? And then you don't give people chances. And then the real answer to that is that you can't predict what's going to happen. But when something makes you feel the wrong way, that's when you cut it off. So a lot of times we don't cut things off fast enough, over time, years, months. But when something makes you feel wrong, that's when you know. Because you can't prevent the bad things or the weird people, but when you cut them quick, no slow deaths. And that is your security and your recourse.
Very good. Last question, okay? Hold on, let me get it out. I know we're, okay. You have won, obviously, 7 Grand Slams, 5 Wimbledons, 4 Olympic gold medals. You're a role model to so many. What is your advice to all of those who also want to achieve the impossible odds?
Right. I would always say bet on yourself. That's your best bet.
Oh my God, I have goosebumps. You are amazing.
Thank you for having me.
Are you kidding me?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. I mean, I'm blown away. I'm so honored. Give it up for Venus Williams, everybody! Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you're amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, deal. Okay. Yeah, we'll leave the mic, I'll come off.
Badass. Yeah, I'm after what I want. Money that I'm getting for investing, not to flaunt. 10x badass. I'ma give you what you need. Chopper in the air, on the ground, I got a team. 10x badass.